Yeah, here's a game. Shape. Let's see, time to start off with d4. And f5, the Dutch defense. Okay, I think I'm just going to go with the classical setup. d4 and c4 and the knight out. He pins the knight. Yep. I mean, there are many ways to play against the Dutch. It's interesting. It's an interesting defense. I don't know if I've seen that one before. Do I want to unpin right away or keep developing? Normally, I would go with the fianchetto here. Put a bishop on this diagonal. Pawn on e3. Let's just start with that. Not defend that knight immediately. I have to figure out where the other knight wants to go. Maybe this knight wants to go to f4. So knight to knight to h3 to f4 could be an idea. So he immediately brought his knight to the center and attacked my knight over here. So I guess I need to defend it. Let's see, I could also play, e3, knight e2 to f4, but that's one more move. If I want to get my knight to f4 right away, I could go knight to h3 and then knight to f4. Although I suppose I should worry about what if he plays g5 there. Maybe I could answer with f3, kicking his knight. Anyway, it's castle here, so that my bishop is defended, so I don't lose anything due to tricks by like taking this knight with tempo. Okay, so now I can take his knight, and I think I should. Let's just take everything. Doesn't this win a pawn? He played very quickly there, so I suspect he didn't intend this. I suspect it was a mistake. In any case, he gave me a pawn. I will take it. And he's got to do something about his loose rook in the corner too. And you can just play knight there, yeah. So do I get any mileage out of playing pawn to pawn to d5 here? The knight has to move. He could exchange first and then attack my queen. But I was just thinking after the knight moves, then I get the pawn to d6 with tempo. And his rook moves, or he plays pawn up. And then that pawn is weak. So I guess that's not really worth a whole lot. Let's kick his bishop. Where does the bishop want to go? Or develop my bishop. Yeah, let's start by kicking his bishop. So I went there. So I can play knight f4 now. I can play bishop to f4. Need to get the queen out of the way probably. Yes, diagonal. Oh, the diagonal is no longer weak. Yeah, the rook is not loose in the corner. I don't know what I was thinking about there. Does the knight really want to go to f4? Maybe. Maybe I just want to play e4. Just take over the center. And then develop the bishop to e3 behind the pawn. And it looks like he's going to go for that typical king-side attack. Yeah, I do have a loose knight there. That's true. Knight here kicks the queen. get a tempo on the queen if it goes to one of these dark squares. So it goes there. Let's kick the queen again. The knight defending the h-pawn is kind of nice. One of the perks of the knight on f4. So now the queen is in the line of this bishop. Do I have some clever tactic like knight takes Knight takes e6. Isn't that a good tactic? He takes the knight, I take the queen. The queen moves, I take the rook. And where else? Where can the queen go anywhere with a big threat? I don't see it. Yeah, it goes there with the threat to my pawn, which I will just have to live with. I think it's better for me to go ahead and take the rook rather than defend the pawn. And well, he has to decide if he wants to take my rook or take the pawn. If he wants the pawn, my knight maybe can escape. Yeah, the knight could have escaped to d7. It looked like to me, and then out here to e5 or something like that. Okay, so let's defend this pawn. Maybe here, so I can also bring a rook over to the h-file. And my queen is covering, my queen and king are both covering the f3 square. Otherwise, his rook and queen, he might have been able to play queen f3 if I didn't have that covered. Yes, we can push that pawn forward. So if I play pawn up, and am I threatening to take? I'm not sure. But I want to get the bishop off the back rank. If he pushes forward, where will I go? I will go to, I'll play pawn to h4 if he pushes forward, I guess. And then, yeah. I mean, he is, he will be blocking the queen, so he still won't have that f3 square. Oh, he has queen f3 now. Ah. But he didn't play it. Maybe he wants to sacrifice there. But if he plays bishop takes h4, I have rook to h1. Anyway, I need to get my other rook in the game, and then things should be looking pretty good for me. Up a pawn and the exchange. Yeah, so he spotted that h3 weakness. That's a good move. Definitely a good move. Okay, so let's unpin. The rook to e1, bishop to f4, rook to e3 is the way I'm thinking of unwinding at this point. I just had to check to make sure these pawns, which are loose, I undefended those pawns by dropping my queen back. I had to make sure they weren't under fire. So let's get that other rook out. And, oh, that's interesting. So is he going to take with the pawn or the bishop? Let's see. Ah, that's nice. That opens up this check here. His loose queen will force an exchange. Yeah, so he just resigned. Anyway, interesting game. I will upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.